As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have... Hold on, just setting this up. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Twisted Minds. One of the best Protoss in Korea right now. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player, the returning Terran. One of the best, or in the past, one of the best Terrans in the world. Now looking to, reprise his role here. It is TY. Taeyang himself. Let's go. And TY back in the day was one of the four horsemen. The four Terran horsemen of the apocalypse. Of course, that was Maru, Bjorn, Innovation, and TY. And yeah, back in the day, he was a damn good player. I always remember TY versus Darko, and I think it was Dust Towers. Oh my god, he had so many good games on Dust Towers, and yeah, some of my favorite memories from back in the day are from TY's matches. Of course, he was a special sensei, his senpai, back in the day as well. They were, of course, quite good friends back when Juanito did go to Korea and join Team 8 back in the day. And we'll see what he can really bring to the table, as we do have a Rax Expand set up from TY. So very economic focused. He's going to have a bit of a hard time throwing down that CC, and he is going to be forced to throw it down off location, unfortunately, because of that probe. So Classic doing a good job at being annoying. But of course, TY, he can lift this up and reposition it once it does finish up. So it just delays his natural base for a couple of seconds. Not the biggest of deals. As behind this, he's actually going to be skipping out his Reaper. Going to be relying on his SCV Scout instead. Just confirming his opponent is going for a Gate Expand. Nothing too crazy out of Classic. Again, TY is just going to be going for that Reactor after said Marine. And eventually, actually is looking to set up for potentially a 3-Rax here, as no, oh my god! I was going to say a 3-Rax because he only had one gas. Then I saw the positioning of that SCV. He's going for a very greedy opener. This is a build that a lot of Terran players have been whipping out. Maru, Clem has done it recently as well. It is something that you can do on Babylon. Just a very fast third CC from TY. Oh boy. Can he keep this hidden? Can he keep this safe? Can he get away with this? That's a question. Behind this, it should be a 3-Rax follow-up. As again, we're working with very limited gases. And this can be punished. Like, the biggest punish for this is 4-Gate Blink Stalkers. But Classic isn't going for a Twilight Council opener. He's going for a Stargate opener instead. So I think this is ideal for TY. Going to be Phoenix first, not Oracle. So this is a bit of a double-edged sword. It looks like Classic wants to set up for Phoenix Colossi. And because of how economic TY is being, he won't be able to punish the Phoenix Colossi or hit any kind of crisp timing to kill the Protoss before they get into their 3-base economy. So both players are going to be looking to be pretty macro-oriented. As the Raxes are being set up, CC about to finish up as well. Across the map, there's that Robo that we were talking about. So once that Robo finishes, if Classic wants to be safe, we should be seeing an Immortal. If he wants to be greedy, he skips the Immortal, goes straight for the Robotic Spade, and gets ready for that Colossus production. Phoenixes are going to be moving out, and they will see everything. They confirm the Raxes, they confirm the timing of that third CC, and Classic should know that he is safe and sound. That his opponent shouldn't be barreling down in his front door anytime soon. And yeah, immediately Classic, he just takes the third. Because he knows he can. And he's going to be able to get some economic damage done. Probe does fall. Oh, also I just realized there we go. I just realized I had the corner logo on. My bad, my bad. Now, what's interesting here is that we're actually not going for a third Rax. We're going into a faster factory instead. We do have a pretty solid Marine count, but Stim is still a ways off, so TY will not be moving out without it. And again, that is going to give Classic enough time to get out his first Colossus, which means he should be safe to any kind of Marine push early on. So then the question becomes, who's in a better position? I do think that this may still be slightly better for the Terran, as long as he doesn't lose too much. What's also important, though, is that Classic is stopping at 2 Phoenixes. He's hard at transitioning into Ground Toss, into, I imagine, Charge or Blink. These 2 Phoenixes are the only ones that he did make. Which again just shows how greedy he's being. Like, he doesn't have anything. Like, he's got like 5 units. That's it. So again, it's good to see that Classic, he knows what he can get away with just based on what he's been scouting, and yeah, we've just been cutting as many corners as we've been able to, as we can. Ace is just going to be, once again, annoying, keeping TY back at home. Colossus production well underway. And Classic is even starting to move out. He's going to be looking to threaten this third base. And even though he doesn't have the biggest army, 1 Colossus, like, how do we deal with it right now? I don't think we can. We have 19 Marines, and pure Marines, they can't really dive on top of a Colossus like this, not with sentries to force field. And here we go, Classic, he rocks up. Straight into the middle line. The force field is real as well. The SCVs! There's no way out. They all get trapped. They all go down. Oh my god. It's a massacre. 13 SCVs go down. At the same time, the double drop does make it across the map. Stim is done. A good amount of counter damage, but we have the recall, and TY has to get the hell out of there. Oof. We're able to warp in a couple of defensive stalkers back at home. The Phoenixes look to chase down this drop as well. 8 probes did fall. Not a bad amount of damage, but against 2 Colossi, again, pure Marine can't really do too much here. He's going to try to, he's diving in. He's crazy. Wait, TY sees 2 Colossi, he's like, all right, let's go, let's stim. Oh my god. He picks off a Phoenix, to be fair. It's a bit of a trade going on. Saves whatever he can as he gets the hell out of there. So thankfully, TY was able to get something done with that double drop, but I do think that Classic did have the better end of that trade. So he lost 8 workers, sure, but he was able to clean up 15 Marines. Classic wants to keep on pushing, while his opponent still doesn't have the most ideal army against Colossi. But as time goes on, now we have 2 tanks on low ground, we have a turret as well. Like, this position is becoming more and more heavily fortified here by TY. It's going to be harder to break. As yeah, Classic is going to be backing off. He's going to be taking a 4th base. 2nd robo on the way for double disruptor production. He has 2 Colossi for now, so a 3rd Colossus wouldn't be too bad, but yeah, getting into disruptors should be the next step here for Classic. Just diversifying his splash damage. As thankfully the proxy pylon gets found out, so it is going to be cleaned up. No Zealot Runbys are going to be coming in, but the Vikings are out of position, and Classic, he pushes in. Oh, 1st tank goes down, 2nd tank as well. Hallucination going to be tanking some of those shots, and can Classic get on top of the final tank? It looks like he barely cannot. TY does hold. Oh, the juggling! Classic, can he get out of here? The Vikings are looking for those Colossi, and it looks like TY's not going to be able to chase him down. What did we lose there? So Classic, he got 2 of those tanks and a good chunk of Marines. He lost his Archons and his Sentries, but he kept his high-tech units alive. He kept his Colossi alive, as well as his Immortals, and that's what matters. Again, shaving... Oh, God! Oh, that's a hallucination, so good. Shaving off that tank count is pretty crucial when it comes to keeping TY at home. With a low tank count, it's going to be difficult to move out with too much confidence. Disruptors now on the way. Blink as well to help deal with all these drops, or deal with any impending drops. And Classic is just looking really comfortable back at home. TY wants to move out. Alas, he's being pulled back here by the Zealot. The vision here is insane as well. We have pylons all over just to catch any kind of move out. Good positioning by these Vikings. The Prism does fall. Very nicely done here by TY. As Classic is looking for another way in. Oh, never mind. He just takes a 5th. He's working on his 5th as TY is still working on his own 4th. So Classic just getting further ahead economically. Making more disruptors. Again, fanning out his units, his pylons, his zealots just to catch any kind of drop play. Classic just has so much map vision, so much map control. And TY has been stuck at home. But that is about to change. He's got a good amount of Vikings. He is commencing Liberator production. With these fast Liberators, he actually can go toe-to-toe with this army as long as he's in position, as long as he's able to siege. He scans and he's going for the base trade. He saw Classic moving in and he doesn't care. Oh boy. Okay. Yep, we're going full base trade. The 3rd base is under threat. The 4th base as well. Classic can always recall. TY has to commit as he does a bust into the natural. Classic immediately pulling the boys. He's ready for this. And what do we have in the main base? We have 1 Liberator covering the ramp. Robos are being depowered. Now, can Classic break into the main? Does he need to break into the main? That's the real question. As TY is moving towards the 4th base of Classic, and is he going to recall? No. He doesn't need to recall. He dives into the main, into all these liberation zones. The freedom. 1 Liberator, 2 Liberators are going to be going down. Oh my god. Classic, he loses a lot trying to bust up this ramp. Meanwhile, the 4th base goes down. The main base under threat. We can still try to evacuate. We can still try to recall out of here. Oh god, as we are diving on forward, it looks like we have enough Stalkers here to focus down all of these Liberators. Classic does make it into the main. Likewise, so does TY. Let's have a look at the units tab. Okay, so we only have 2 Stalkers. We don't have that much anti-air for Classic. Okay, scratch that. We have 4 Stalkers. As well as a lot of Disruptors. Meanwhile, TY did lose all of his Liberators. He still has a decent amount of tanks. He does come across one of the final mining bases of his opponent. Well, +3 is about to finish up for Classic as well. The Forge was not sniped. So again, Classic doesn't have a lot of anti-air. It's possible, like, we could technically try and force a draw, but really it's gonna come down to one big fight. TY floating everything across the map. I love it. The Sim City is setting up a wall. He's got the tanks as well. He has the high ground. But does Classic have to push up this ramp because he's got 2 bases out on the map? TY, oh, he's setting up a surround. I thought he was going to be hunting down some of these bases, but no, he wants to try to collapse on this army. Uh-oh. He has to be very careful. Looks like another CC is barely going to go down. Oof, only 1 orbital makes it across the map alive. Meanwhile, TY, he's looking for bases. I would like for him to hunt down bases with these Vikings as well. Like, there's nothing for the Vikings to do. There's nothing in the air. Looks like a base has been found. Nexus is gonna fall. Classic doesn't have enough resources to throw down another Nexus. He's broke. Uh-oh. He needs to cancel this space. He needs to cancel. He needs the money. Ah. There we go. We do have the cancel. Classic still doesn't have enough. Takes 400 minerals to throw down a base. That is it. No more bases left for Classic. TY, he is mining. It's all or nothing here for Classic. He has to end the game with this army. A lot of supply for TY is across the map. He needs everything back at home. Uh-oh. Can Classic break through? It's a lot of Zealots. EMP does blanket every single one of those Zealots. They absolutely melt. Novas are busting on through, but no, it's not going to be enough. GG gets called, and TY takes game number 1. Oh my god. GG. The base trade was real, and yeah, thankfully TY, he was active with his job. He was hunting down those bases. Him killing those Nexuses, or those Nexi, did seal the deal, did seal Classic's fate. That was his one way to come back into this, was to actually resume mining. But alas, Classic left his bases exposed. There was nothing back at home to defend, and yeah, TY forced the all in. GG. GG. Oh boy, and that's pretty damn impressive, especially like considering, for the most part, Classic was winning that game. Let's be real here. Classic, he was ahead economically. He had a larger army as well. I do think, and I think TY knew this as well. That's why when he like, if you remember, TY initiated the base trade. When he saw Classic's army moving out, TY knew. He's like, man, I can't fight that. Let's go. We're going for it, Papi. The base trade was maybe one of the only ways for TY to win that, and yeah, he pulled it off. GG, very well done. As we get into the next game, I do think that maybe one of the big mistakes for Classic was, if you remember, when he tried to force his way up the ramp into the main base, with all those Liberators, at the start, or like halfway through the base trade, I do think that Classic, he did lose a lot there, if you remember. He lost a lot of his army trying to force his way up that ramp. Arguably unnecessarily, and oh boy, as a result, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the South Korean Protoss player currently down in this series, in this best of 3. Oh boy, one game away from, yeah, being knocked out of round 1. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent. We have the returning Terran player, the veteran Terran, representing himself. He's the Sun. He is TY. Very impressive stuff overall. Again, Classic is no slouch. Classic is, I would say, the second best Protoss in Korea right now. I would say that he has overcome Creator in recent times. And for TY to take him down a notch is already a damn good result. And we can see TY, he's playing some mind games right now. He's going for a pseudo proxy rack. So this is actually pretty old school. I haven't seen this in a long time, but maybe a couple of seasons ago, it was very common for Terran players to throw down their racks at their natural. Like Bjorn would do this all the time in TvPs. He'd throw down his racks at his natural, or at his third, or at his other third, or hidden behind his main base, and it's just for mind games. So if the Protoss only dips in and doesn't fully scout the main or fully scout the surrounding area, there we go, he's checking the main base, then Classic may think that it's a proxy. He may think that TY is cheesing him. So just some mind games going on right now. As Classic sticks around long enough, and he does confirm the factory at least. So he knows that, okay, his opponent's transitioning. If there is a proxy Rax, there's only one Rax across the map. He should be fine. And Classic is even forced to make a Zealot, just to be safe. He does waste some resources here making that Zealot. So, yeah, so far a job well done here by TY. The Reaper reveals itself, and now Classic knows, oh, okay. The Reaper was across the map, never mind. And now this Zealot has to get value in some way, shape, or form. Is going to be moving out. And TY did go for a double gas opener. With this, his CC is delayed. It does mean that he has that faster factory, as we saw. So he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. Does work towards that tech lab. Interesting. I'm really curious to see how hard TY commits to this. So earlier I did mention that, oh, never mind. Earlier I did mention that he was, of course, the senpai, the sensei, the teacher of Juanito. And Juanito does have a Cyclone build in TvP. There's a Cyclone on the way, but I think this is just for safety. I think this is, we shouldn't really be over-investing into these Cyclones. Specifically, Juanito, he actually works towards, I want to say, 2 to 4 Cyclones and gets Magfield accelerators. But before that happens, we do see Classic trying to force his way up into the main base. Reaper across the map confirming just lack of saturation. With the arrival of this Cyclone, TY should be able to force this back and, for the most part, clean this up. Oh! Ooh. As the Depot barely does survive. And yeah, from here, we're just going straight into tank production. So TY just playing this out safe. And again, the Cyclone is such a powerful unit in the early game, specifically of TvP. It's basically like just the anti-Prism, anti-Oracle. The first Oracle, I believe, was cancelled. Oh my god. Classic did have an Oracle on the way, but no, he cancels it. He goes for Phoenix instead. Wise choice. I believe he cancelled the Oracle after he saw the Cyclone. Like, he knows that his opponent is going to be in position for any kind of air unit diving into the main. Classic is playing it out safe. As yeah, we're just getting our 2 bases up and running, and this is very similar to the last game. Classic, if you recall, in the last game, he did go for a Phoenix opener into Colossi, and he actually cut Phoenix production really early on. He was just being that greedy. Likewise, we have a very fast Robo. It's now done. We're going into a very fast Robotic Spade behind this as well. So tech-wise, Classic is being quite greedy indeed. Again, recognizing that TY is being mainly defensive and shouldn't be pushing out anytime soon. The Classic should be able to get away with this Colossi. With all this tech, with these 2 gateways, he should be working on a 3rd base soon, and there we go. Island is thrown down, and momentarily we should be seeing that 3rd from Classic. So very economic, very macro play coming out from Classic. He's not going to be in the face of his opponent. He's not going to be looking to deal any harassing damage anytime soon. And TY is moving out, and he's got 3 tanks. This is a pretty terrifying push. Right now, Classic is vulnerable. The Bay just finished. He doesn't have a Colossus yet. He does have a safety Immortal, and he does have some force fields. But this is going to be a very tight defense, if not impossible, as Classic has maybe misread the situation, as TY is rocking up with a pretty massive army. Uh-oh. Tanks are going to be slow pushing in towards the 3rd base. Shield battery does finish up. But is it going to be enough? The tanks are shelling away at this so heavily. The first tank does go down, but the Marines, they push on forward, and it looks like TY is going to be able to overwhelm. He may not have Sim. We do have the overcharge. The Immortal barely does hold on, but the tanks are looking to siege. The Phoenixes, they almost do nothing. They do nothing. 3rd base is under threat. Turret is being thrown down as well. Here comes the first Colossus. But it's not going to be in time to save the 3rd. Oh my god, we're going to try to... The target firing is on point. The Phoenix goes down instantly. So does the Immortal. And TY, he's not just breaking the 3rd, he's breaking the natural. There is almost nothing left here for Classic. Again, he was cutting so many corners. He was being so greedy, and the punish was real. Ugh, only 1 Colossus remains. And the tanks aren't in range of the Colossus, but they are in range of that shield battery. Bunkers on the way, more Colossi rocking up. TY wants to try to snowball. He wants to end the game here and now. Oh! God, that Colossus is so low. It's so low, papi. Behind this, 3rd CC is on the way. Stim as well. TY is not all in. He's just getting further ahead. He's already done critical damage. And with this, he is containing Classic to 2 bases. Boy, how can Classic break out? We got a Void Ray on the way, because that's all we can make. Twilight Council isn't even done. We don't even have charge. Like, without charge, how can we bust out of this? Oh my god, those Colossi are doing so much, though. Tanks almost do go down. Reinforcements rallying across the map. Classic does have a couple of proxy pylons, and he's going to go for, I guess, a Zealot run-by? Or maybe a surround? But they're slow lots, Papi. Charge, it just now started. Like, I don't think... Again, I don't think Classic can ever break out of this. Especially as TY, he just throws out more turrets, more bunkers, more tanks. Yeah, Classic, he goes for the ninja base. Thankfully, Classic had a couple of probes out on the map, so he was able to pull this off. So he's not out of this yet. As long as TY doesn't find the base, Classic can have a decent economy. Disruptor's on the way. Charge about to finish up. The Zealots are getting ready for a surround. They're going to be looking to come in from behind. Oh, a solid catch as well. Tank will up. Oh my god, it won't go down. Oh no. Tank doesn't go down. The Zealots have been revealed. Charge isn't done, and we are bleeding out far too many units. Ay. So unfortunate here for Classic. Just before charge. Behind this, the Marines, they do go back home. It looks like he's a little bit paranoid about a run by. We do recall over to that ninja base. Do get it up and running. But TY is still ahead economically. Let's be real. He still has that lead. And yeah, Classic isn't going for the surround. He's going for a counterattack instead. What do we have at home to defend? We have a couple of Marines, couple of Marauders. Mine shot does go off. And TY, he should be able to clean this up. The boys are pulled. A couple of SCVs go down, but we can afford to lose SCVs in this situation. Zealots will go down. At the same time, Novas go up, and not quite the best connections. Classic trying to break out. Now, the question soon will become, at what point does TY cut his losses and unsiege? Because this army here is getting pretty terrifying. He's got Archons, he's got Disruptors. Charge is now done as well. At a certain point, Classic is going to collapse on this, and I do think he can break through. It depends, right? Like, if TY, as the tank goes down, if TY reinforces, I do think TY can continue the contain, but if he keeps this army back at home, then Classic is going to be, TY is going to be in a bit of trouble. As no, he moves out, he catches the proxy. Oof. Yeah, Gateway is going to go down the pylon as well. Classic's been bleeding out a lot. We're going to try to break on now. The Zealots coming from behind, but there were barely any Zealots. It looks like we do break the tank line. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. This is a pretty efficient trade from Classic. Finally, something going well for him. As TY goes for a drop into the main. He wants Classic to turn around, and he does. TY buying so much time with this. I mean, his tank count just got reset. TY was the most vulnerable here after he lost that army, but Classic turns all the way back around, and TY has more time to just rebuild his tanks, rebuild his Marines. Oh, the SCV is finally going to scout. And TY finally gets eyes on the ninja base, finally realizes, ooh, I'm not as far ahead as I thought I was. And Classic is fighting back. Now, pushing up this ramp, I don't think would be the wisest of choices. We do have 3 tanks set up and a good amount of Marauders. No bunkers, though, to be fair. Army doesn't get scouted. Here we go. As Classic moves in, we do have a double drop into the main base. Boys are being pulled. Massive Novas do go off, and it looks like Classic is going to be... Can he break through? Up. We have another tank in the back line. It looks like he will. He does break the siege line of TY. At the same time, the drop across the map. The drops across the map are crippling the economy of Classic, forcing him all in. And Classic, he's running out of steam. He doesn't have a lot protecting the Colossus. The turret takes down the Colossus. There's only one Colossus left. The Marauders are trying to focus it down. Can they get it? They do. 3 Colossus and a Dream. They get the Colossi. They get the Disruptors. Somehow, some way, with a handful of units, TY, he cleans this up. He does it. That's it. Classic was all in. It was all or nothing. GG gets called, and TY takes the series 2-0, qualifying for this season of GSL. Oh my god. GG. Initially, that push was looking pretty damn good from Classic. He killed all the tanks, he kept his disruptors alive, he kept his Colossi alive, but then I do think that maybe he was looking back at home, like trying to warp in defensively, trying to deal with those drops, and yeah, a little bit of misjudgment towards the end there. Classic lost everything to a handful of Marauders, and GG. To be fair, I think recalling at that point would be really difficult. Like, again, Classic didn't have an economy. He already lost all of his probes. He pulled his workers across the map. He was committing to a base trade. GG, well played. TY taking out Classic. That's a pretty insane result. I did not expect that coming into this. I'll be honest. As I was like talking about TY earlier, I was like, yo, you know, he's returning to the game. He's not really as good as he once was. Like, he's still trying to build up his skill and his confidence as well. Oh god. And even with game one, like game one was still a really rough game for TY, but here in game two, a lot more decisive, far more decisive here from our Terran, and yeah, GG, really well done, really well played. TY does qualify, and I'm really looking forward to seeing like the rest of his matchups and how he can perform against Zerg and against Terran as well. I do think Terran is probably going to be his best matchup. It's kind of like riding a bike. It hasn't changed too much. I guess this year it has changed a little bit, but yeah, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing more of TY. GG, well played. Classic is eliminated from Group A. Now, something that I will say is that even though Classic is eliminated from this group, he has another chance. So the way it works is the players, specifically the players that get knocked out in these qualifying matches, they basically get invited into a new bracket, into round two, basically, into a second, like a final chance at qualifying. So once we finish up the group stage, all the players that made it as far as qualifying matches but didn't make it in, they're all going to be pulled together and put into another bracket. Oh boy. So Classic will have another chance. Oh boy. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Group A is in the books, and we're going to be heading over to Group B. Aye. As we switch our scenes over, just to catch everyone up, of course, Hero came out first in Group A, TY came out second, and now we're going to be diving into Group B, where we have some very different players. I mentioned it earlier, but there are a couple of NA players living in Korea right now. There's Estrella, Special, Future, and Scarlet. 4 North American players, and of course Nice is also currently residing in Korea as well. As a result, we have quite a number of foreigners competing here in this qualifier of GSL, so we wish them the best of luck. It'd be really cool to see them make it through, or to see as many of them make it through as possible. But I'm a little bit torn because Australia's going to be going up against Ryung. The loser goes up against Dark in that lower brackets qualifying match. And I'm a big fan of Dark and Ryung. Big fan of Dark. Massive fan of Ryung, the Tuna Terran himself, and at the same time, I want to see Australia do well. So, yeah, regardless of what happens, my heart is going to be broken. And at least, you know, whoever loses out of those 3 players will have another chance in that kind of final round. So we're not going to be saying goodbye to anyone yet, thankfully. But oh boy, that is going to be our next matchup: Australia versus Ryung, another TvP. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go.